James is an 8-figure Amazon FBA seller, and in this video, he's gonna share the secrets on how he does product research, how he sets up his product page, and also why you should be careful when working with China. And we're gonna share all the different secrets he actually uses to make more money on Amazon FBA. And make sure you stick around till the end of this video, because at the end, he's gonna share the advanced tactics he actually uses, and he's throwing in a bonus. He's gonna give you a free hour-long step-by-step tutorial video. So with that being said, let's get started with the first secret, which is about how to find great products. How do you approach product research?
So when it comes to product research, here's my criteria. The first thing I look for is whether or not the product can be airshipped. If it can be airshipped, it's gonna save you a lot of headache in your out of stocks. The last thing you want is for your product to be out of stock, because when it is, it's gonna affect your rankings and give your competitors that advantage. The next thing I look for is whether or not the product has a low potential for defects and returns. This is going to save you a lot of money in the long run. It's going to create a really positive customer experience, and it's going to affect your reviews as well. The next thing is going to be your production lead times. And this goes back into whether or not you're going to experience out of stocks. Yeah. If you have a low production lead time that can also be airshipped to Amazon, you're going to alleviate that stress on you. Lastly is to look for products that have really great margins. I tend to look for things that are at lower cost. Typically, items that are lower cost can afford greater margins, giving you a bigger budget for things like PPC, and even just blitzing the market with a lower price to give you the competitive advantage that you need.
And that's really helpful, because basically you can buy something for $1 that sells for $15. You can have really good margins, and it's also easier for beginners to get started. It's not such an expensive product.
Exactly, it puts a lot less stress on you. It's definitely easier to buy a product for $1 that sells for $15 than for one that costs $15 that sells for over $100.
And what are some mistakes you see beginners making when it comes to product research?
So the last thing you want to do is go for anything that's popular, anything that's trending. This is something, it's really exciting to people to see these types of search volume numbers out there, a product being ordered 50,000 times per month. You should totally stay away from that. These products typically have a ton of competition and extremely low margin. And don't be afraid to go for smaller niches. These things they don't have that much search volume, but they have a lot of longevity built into them and not much competition. So look for the small ones here and there. Don't necessarily go for the big ones.
And make sure to hit that like button, because if this video gets 1,000 likes, we're gonna do a video with James, and he's gonna go step by step showing you real numbers with a product that he actually launched that it didn't have crazy search volume, but he made a good amount of money from doing it. So let's get into the second secret. And this is how to properly set up your listing, because a lot of people mess this up. How do you properly set up your listing?
One thing that I notice with a lot of beginners is that they have holes in their listings. You wanna make sure that your listing is complete end to end. So that means having a really great set of photos, an optimized title, features, and descriptions. Make sure you register for that trademark so that you qualify for A+ content. And that's gonna give you really rich media within the body of your listing.
And one thing that you taught me was actually your main image should actually be a computer rendering a lot of times instead of a photo image. What are your thoughts on that?
If it's really difficult to photograph, the renders out there are so good right now, you can't even tell that they're renders. The last thing is don't forget about the Q&A section on your product description page, because that's going to help a lot with great customer experience. It's going to help with your SEO as well, and prevent you from having to deal with a lot of customer service by answering questions that are just asked very frequently.
And I know for me, when I'm looking to buy something on Amazon, I might have a question, does this work with my phone? And I'll scroll down to the Q&A, and I'll see an answer, and if the answer is yes, I'm gonna buy it. So it's a good way for you to get more sales. And like he said, make sure that people aren't returning products saying, this didn't work with my phone. And that kind of leads us into the next secret, which is, why should you be careful when working with China? What are some of the dangers with working with China?
So most people who private label now are probably sourcing their products from China. And this has happened to me a lot of times. So if you're sourcing from China, there's a good chance that they're going to be competing directly with you. They know all of your secrets. They're going to be taking all of your ideas. Their costs are cheaper. So I would consider other alternatives like India and Taiwan.
Another thing to keep in mind is that if you're shipping it from China, you're gonna have to pay 25% in duty And it's a long lead time unless you're doing air shipping.
Exactly. This is something that happened since the trade war with China. Not all products, but a lot of products, and probably 90% of my products that I source from China incur the 25% increase in duties.
And make sure to hit the subscribe button because we're going to be doing a video together very soon on why China is killing Amazon FBA. But one way to alleviate some of the issues with China is to be a better negotiator. And that's secret number 4. Talk about that.
Yep. So you want to win before the game even starts. There is a good chance that there are dozens of manufacturers for the product that you're looking to source. So you're doing yourself a disservice if you don't take the time to negotiate with each and every one of these guys. And don't be afraid to show comparable pricing that you get from other manufacturers. These guys are often going to tell you that this is their rock bottom price, that the price that you give them is even lower than their cost, or that their quality is better. These are just canned lines that they just say to everybody. Push as hard as you can and give yourself that advantage before the game even starts.
It was really eye-opening actually before this when you said to me that they'll say, oh, that's not even possible, like it's impossible to get it for that cheap, and then you'll go back and forth with them and then you'll get it even cheaper than that.
Exactly.
So that's a really important thing. You want to negotiate. That's a good way to save a lot of money, which makes you more money. Another secret to save a lot of money, which will make you more money, is in the shipping and the packaging. Talk about that.
So a great way to save a lot of money is to ensure that your products are packaged in the smallest footprint possible. This allows you to fit more units per case, making the unit cost cheaper. Not only that, if possible, if you can have a finished package that is less than 0.75 inches in height, this qualifies for Amazon's standard small tier for their FBA fees. And the difference between a standard small and a standard large is 81 cents. So there have been numerous cases where I've able to make the unit package much smaller to qualify and to go from a standard large to a standard small, then I instantly made another 81 cents per item. And when you're dealing with things that cost less than $1, that's almost 100% return on investment.
So you want to look for ways you can save money on every step of it. But on the flip side, something that's really important to do is try to get as many sales and try to launch as big as possible. And that's secret number 6 for us, is how to launch. And I'm going to share how I like to launch on Amazon, and then we'll get James's input on how he launches his products on Amazon. Now, one thing that I do and I talk a lot about on this channel is before you launch your product, you want to create some kind of social media. You want to create a Facebook group. You want to start collecting emails, because the most important part of launching a product, in my opinion, is to get as many sales as possible from day one, and also within the first week or two to try to get as many reviews as possible. And what happens is the more sales you get, the higher up in the ranking of the Amazon search results you go, the higher up in the search results you go, the more sales you're going to get. And it's just this snowball effect. Now for you, what are your thoughts on how do you launch a product?
Okay, so there's a couple rules I like to follow when I launch a product. Number 1 is to launch at a break-even price point. Number 2 is to launch with a bundle. So for instance, if you're selling a car adapter for cell phone cables, you should include the cable as a bundle. You should make the bundle so attractive that it makes it really difficult for your competitors to compete with you. So I don't mind losing money for the first 3 months so that I can blitz the market. I can get that high sales velocity. I can get those rankings in. And I like to create those bundle offers. It makes it so irresistible, and especially compared to our competitors' listings.
And this is a really important thing I want to point out. And this is why you should not do typical private label, is you're trying to compete against people like James, if you're doing private label, who's okay with not making money for 3 months or 6 months. But the other principle here that's really important is try to always have a better offer, a better product whenever possible. And that leads us into the final tip, and that's the advanced tactics. What are some of the advanced tactics that a lot of people just don't even know about, that they aren't doing out there?
Okay, so the one that stands out to me right now is video. Not enough people are doing video, and that's another hole in a listing. So make sure that you have a really good product demo video and a good video that you can take advantage of in terms of in-search result video ads. And these guys are really cheap right now because very few people are utilizing them, and they convert amazingly.
And one of the most important principles from all this is you want to be the first mover. When Amazon comes out with a new feature, a new type of advertising tool, you want to be the first one to do it because you're going to get a lower cost. And related to that is you want to act quickly when it comes to Amazon. So if you want to do Amazon, click on this video. James and I did a video over on his channel, which is a full hour-long tutorial on everything you need to know to sell on Amazon. So click on that video. We'll see you in the next video, and thanks for watching.